everyone, welcome to Niharika's Literary Wars. Today we are going to talk about Age of Chaucer, and you just have to listen it and know all the information carefully and listen it. So if we see Age of Chaucer, so Age of Chaucer started in 1350 and ended in 1400 with the at that time two great movements are going on in that age. First is political movement. In politics we can see that growth of English national spirit following the victories of Edward and the Black Prince and on French soil during Hundred-Year Wars. So if we see the political scenario of that time, so at that time there was the king there was Edward III who wanted to be the king of France, because the king of France, Philip the Fourth, is dead and his son is also dead, so there was no successor of his. So he says that he is the grandson of Philip the Fourth, so he can become the king. But Philip the Fourth has a daughter Isabella, so he was the son of Isabella. But the French authority rejected it, and they say, instead of you the nephew of Philip the Fourth, Philip of Valois, should become the king, because he was his nephew and he was a French. So after for this there was a 100-year wars was fought between 1337 to 1453. So after it we can see in politics it separated England from the political ties of France and the bondage of Rome. French language lost its official prestige and English became the speech of common people, counts and parliament as well. So this was a political scenario at the time going on. Second, we see social scenario. So Richard II regained his power. Richard II is the son of Edward III, and at the time growth of discontent with contrast between luxury and poetry, between the ideal wealthy and peasants. So there was a peasant revolt also held in 1381 in the leadership of Wat Tyler. English began to be conquering and colonizing people like the Anglo-Saxons. The first dawn of Renaissance heralded in England as in Spain and Italy by the appearance of the national literature. So this was the two great moments which were going on at the time in the age of Chaucer. Moving on to next topic, the five writers of this age. Famous writers are William Langland, John Wycliffe, John Glover, Mandeville and Geoffrey Chaucer as well. So first we have if we see outside the England, there was also some writers like Dante, Petrarch, Boccaccio, who is writing about these things. So moving on to William Langland. So William Langland was born in 1332 and his death was not written or not known anywhere. So he has written a famous work, Piers Plowman, which was a kind of prophecy, and this poem appeared directly to the common people. The whole poem is traditionally attributed to Langland, but it is considered now to be written by different writers. During Tyler's rebellion, it was revised by many and reached 15,000 lines from 1800 lines in 1362. Now the poem is in two distinct parts, the vision of Piers and second is the search of do well, do bad and do best. Its loyalty to the church while denouncing abuses that had crept into it in that period was one of the great influences that lived to do reformation in England. It is an allegory of life vision of the seven deadly sins. Seven deadly sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, wrath and sloth, and preaches the gospel of the work as a preparation for salvation. So this was a Piers Plowman, which was a prophecy, and it also tell about the preparation of salvation. How can we get salvation? It was now presented in two parts. First, the vision of Piers. Second, the to attain, do well, do bad, and do best. So this was William Langland's famous work, Piers Plowman. Moving on to next, John Wycliffe, who was born in 1324 and died in 1384. He was a university man and a profound scholar. Just like Langland, he sides with people rather than with the privileged class. He is the father of English prose for his translation of Bible. Translated the Gospel and New Testament. Rest was finished by his followers, especially Nicholas. And translation from it was translated from Latin Vulgate, revised by John Purvey, 1388. National Standard of English Prose was set by John Wycliffe. Moving on to next poet, next writer, John Mandeville. In 1356, a book appeared in England called The Voyage and Travels of Sir John Mandeville, written in the Midland dialect. It was a collection of travelers' tales from the Orderic, Marco Polo, and various other sources. Originally was probably in French, then Latin, and then English, and then other language. It is the most interesting contemporary on the general culture and credibility of the 14th century. So, if we see some famous work of John Mandeville, so it was The Voyage and Travels of Sir John Mandeville, written in the Midland dialect, and it also tells about the contemporary and general culture of the time. Moving on to main and most important writer of age of Chaucer, on whose name this age was named, who was Geoffrey Chaucer. So Geoffrey Chaucer was from 1340 to 1400, and his life can be divided into three parts. First part of 30 years, which was his youth, earlyhood, and he was in French literary mode. Second part, we can see 15 years active life as a diplomat after the end. Third part is 15 years lived at home, and we can see Englishman. So first period of 30 years, in that period he lived in London on the Thomas Street near the river. There he showed the shipman of the Canterbury Tales. He was a great reader. Father was a wine merchant to a royal house. At 17, Chaucer was made page to the Princess Elizabeth. At 19, he went to the 100-Year Wars and was taken to prison. Ransom was paid by the royal house. Remained a squire of the royal household, confidant of the king. He married Philippa Royd, and some famous work composed at the time are Roman of the Rose, a translate from French Roman de la Rose. It was an allegory of the whole course of love. So Roman of Rose is an allegory of love. Second, his famous work is that of Blanche of the Duchess, written after the death of Blanche, wife of Chaucer's patron John of Gaunt. Third famous work is ABC, a prayer to the Virgin, translated from the French of the Christian monk. So this was a 30 years life. Moving on to second period, 15 years. In 1370, sent to abroad for diplomatic missions. Also went to Italy for some work. Rapid development in his literary powers and Italian influence can be seen at that time. So in first 30 years there was French influence. In next 15 years Italian influence, because he went to Italy for some work. Comptroller of customs at the ports of London. So some famous works which were composed at the time are Troilus and Scridus, 18,000 line poem. Shorts is from Boccaccio's poem. Chaucer used the material freely. Second, this was also a question asked in the paper, House of Fame. Second poem is House of Fame, which was an unfinished poem written by Chaucer, and it took idea from Ovid, Dante, and Virgil's books. And this poem get source from Ovid, Dante, and Virgil's writers. Third famous poem is Legend of Good Women. It introduced the heroic couplet. When he was writing this the Legend of Good Women, he introduced heroic couplet. 9 legends of women who were true to love are described in this, and it was the best of all 9s. So moving on to third period of 15 years. In 1386, Chaucer was elected member of parliament from Kent. Most of this period of his life he spent in many ups and downs on political ladders he has seen. He wrote Complaint to his Empty Purse. So this work is written at the time, Complaint to his Empty Purse, as a revolt his pension as a revolt. He was revolting against the government by writing this work. So his pension was increased by this, but he died the next year in 1400. So this was the Chaucer's whole life in a short. In short, we can see that if we see the how forms of Chaucer poetry, which forms he has used. So in Canterbury Tales he used 10 syllables and 5% each, and the lines runs incomplete. In Troilus Cardus he uses 7 lines stanza with different rhyme called rhyme royal. In Broke of the Duchess he uses 8 syllable line, 4 accents, a line rhyming in couplets. So, moving on to next, a major work, the Canterbury Tales, which was famous, Chaucer's very famous work, but it was unfinished, and the tales tells us a contemporary English life. So we can see that in this tale, 29 pilgrims, including Chaucer, also had started a journey to somewhere, and it was held that everyone should have to tell one story when they are going and one story when they are coming. So every person has to tell two stories equal to. So if we can calculate about the 30 peoples with two stories, so it is equal to 120 tales, to two story in going, two story in coming. The work is unfinished because he had decided to wrote 120 tales, but he has only written 24 tales in his lifetime. So the host of his is the Harry Valley. There was also a host was taken, which whose name is Harry Valley, who decide whose tale is best, because they had started a competition of the tales, that whose tales is good he will get some prize. So we can see here the setting of this Canterbury Tales is in the springtime month April. No particular social hierarchy is maintained in the narration. No particular social hierarchy is mentioned. Tales is in prose, like Pardoner's Tales and Sir Thomas Tales, narrated by fictitious characters Chaucer, Tales of Melliville, Sir Thomas Tale. Some female characters are Nun Priest Tale, Second Nuns, and Chaucer. So in this old feudal system was degenerated, and we can see some influence of peasant revolts or Black Death also. So this is a very big poem. I will cover it in the next video, and today I will end this video here. I hope you like this video, and if you are liking this video, then please subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching the video.